Hey everyone, I'm Kirk, and I'm going to show you what's going to come in your cocktail kits that I will be delivering this evening as a way of saying thank you for making a referral to Timothy Cox & Company. So you're going to be getting 4 cocktails this evening, made by me today. 2 shaken light drinks, 2 stirred boozy drinks. I kind of went in polar opposite directions on them for reasons I'll explain. So the first cocktail you're going to get is a Pina Colada. So I've had tiki on the mind over the last 2 weeks, especially as the weather got a little bit nicer, and I just wanted tiki drinks as a little bit of an escape last week when the election news was all consuming. So you'll get a jar that looks like this. Separation is natural in it because, like I said, it is fresh pineapple juice that was juiced earlier today. Drink within about 3 or 4 days because of that fresh juice. You don't want it to go bad or just kind of lose its pungency. But there are kind of 2 ways to prepare this drink that I'd recommend. The first would be your classic cocktail shaker. Because there are 2 drinks in here, I kind of mix it up and then pour half into a shaker if you only want to make 1. If you want to make 2, pour the whole jar into a shaker, shake it up, serve it over some crushed ice. The other way to make it that I'd recommend if you're feeling industrious would be to make a frozen pina colada. If you have a blender at home, pour this whole thing in a blender, put about this much ice in there as well out of your freezer. Just you can use the jar as measurement. Blend it to kind of incorporate it and then serve in just a glass. You'll have 2 garnishes for this cocktail. Since it's tiki, you'll have these garnish bags that'll include everything that you need. The first are these pineapple fronds, so just kind of stick that bad boy in there for a little vacation mentally. And then the second garnish that you're gonna have, my favorite, is some overproof rum to float on the surface of the drink. So in these tiny containers is about 3/4 ounces of Plantation OFTD, which is a 138 proof rum from a producer in, I believe, Barbados, but they source rum from all over the Caribbean. And just a remarkable producer. They make a pineapple rum that's really great. They make a couple other aged or single estate rums that are really lovely. So yeah, just if you're, just float this over the top and it'll be a nice boozy, hopefully treat with this, like I said, beautiful weather. The polar opposite of that, like I said, I have had tiki on the mind, but at the same time, I've been trying to transition into making some fall cocktails for my orders and for myself, is a cocktail that I made for the first time last December and January. So this cocktail I made for the bar that I worked at that has unfortunately since closed because of coronavirus. And it's just basically a old-fashioned that I wanted to drink by a campfire was the inspiration for it. So it uses some higher proof whiskey right off the bat. So I'm using Old Forester 86 proof because with my old fashions, I want something a little higher than the typical 80 proof that you get with your standard Four Roses, Woodford, that kind of thing. Although Woodford may be 90, I could be wrong. But anyway, Old Forester, really great whiskey that I use at my home bar as well. Blended in with that whiskey, first is Zurben's pine liqueur, because in this inspiration I had the image of pine trees in the winter. So it's a pine liqueur from the Alps, has a touch of sweetness to it, but generally speaking it's just a little bit of bitter elements, bitter botanicals, and then a nice little bit of pine in there. There's only about 1/4 to 1/2 ounce per drink. So it's not going to be overwhelming. It's still going to be kind of whiskey-based drink, but with these notes. A little bit of bitters in there, and then finally there is some burnt sugar syrup that I made by just basically taking some granulated sugar up to about 360 degrees to get it not quite black, but like a dark brown. Add in more sugar to drop the temperature really quickly, dilute it, and then quickly bottle it before it cooks off some of that water. And it just produces, some really nice roasty flavors with still some sweetness in there to function as that old fashioned. Your garnish in this, also in the garnish bag, you have 2 dehydrated blood orange wheels. Again, since it's a winter cocktail, I like that dehydrated blood orange garnish. It just makes the whole thing look really dark, really rich, and I really enjoy this cocktail. To prepare this one, again, there are 2 per drink. There might be some separation. I can see some of that caramel settling at the bottom. So maybe give it a light, just stir it up, mix it up, just to incorporate it. And then 2 ways to prepare this one. You don't want to shake this one because it's all booze. You don't want to incorporate air into the cocktail. You want it to have a little bit more of a silky consistency. So if you have a bar spoon, you can put it into a tin or a mixing glass or a pint container like that you would pour beer or water into, stir it, and then pour it over fresh ice separately. If you don't have a bar spoon, I use a chopstick when I'm in like a hotel room or somewhere where I don't have access to it, and then you can just mix it up that way. Or the other way, if you're feeling a little bit lazy, which is perfectly fine, is to just pour the cocktail over ice on its own. Maybe give it a light finger stir just so that it's not too boozy on that first taste. And you know, if you have a big ice cube, do it on that. If you don't have a big ice cube, that's perfectly fine. It all goes down the same way. So yeah, Pina Colada, overproof rum, pineapple garnish, opus stem. We got some burnt sugar, some pine, and then some overproof bourbon for an old fashioned. I hope you all enjoy this. Thanks again for your referral to Timothy Cox and Company. And you know, feel free to reach out if you have any questions whatsoever. I can be found on Instagram at KirkMakesDrinks. Or you can get in touch with Timothy or any of the other people if you have questions about your cocktails. So cheers, I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you're staying safe.